After one of the wildest days Congress has ever seen, Donald Trump is scrambling, and now the DOJ has gone completely dark to protect him. Just hours after both the House and the Senate voted yes to release the Epstein files, Attorney General Pam Bondi vanished from public view. Trump is very clearly desperate for them to stall, hide, or bury whatever is coming next, but the silence is only making things look worse. So stick around as we dive into what actually happened today and what might happen next, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. So last week, Congress reopened the Epstein files with a bang, making it the first order of business after reopening the government. And as Democrats and even many Republicans threatened to vote on the bill sometime this week, Donald Trump and his allies started immediately panicking, with Trump officials calling Republicans to literally threaten them against voting for the bill. And while all this was happening, Donald Trump seems to have fried his own brain while trying to come up with how to defend himself from the Epstein files. Over the past few days, he has said that the files are a hoax, that Epstein only committed crimes with Democrats, not Republicans, and even that everyone should just stop talking about the files and move on. And yesterday, he got so confused that he said all three of these excuses at once.
So I'm for I don't. They can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them, and it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax, and I don't want to take it away from really the greatness of what the Republican Party has accomplished over the last period of time.
Now more than ever, Donald Trump sounds weak and just straight up defeated. He knew these files would blow up in Congress, and even his most loyal followers are completely lost about what to do. Mike Johnson, for example, just gave probably his weakest press conference this year, where just hours before the Epstein bill was voted on, he still tried to call everything a hoax. Johnson spent his morning calling the whole debate about the Epstein files a Democrat witch hunt, which ultimately just ended up making Trump look even worse.
President Trump has nothing to do with it. He has said himself he has nothing to hide, and that's clearly what they've been trying to do. They're trying to attack President Trump. This is what they've done. They weaponized the justice system over the last several years to go after him, and this is their latest attempt. And they don't have a platform or a principle to defend on the Democrat Party side, so they put all their eggs in this basket. And that's why you hear endlessly about Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Everything's about Epstein.
As late as Tuesday morning, Mike Johnson was calling the Epstein files Democrat lies, but by this point, dozens of Republicans had promised to vote for them. This not only shows that he's clearly lying here, but also that Johnson almost has no control over his party on this issue. And after this argument, Johnson reaches his lowest point yet. He ended his briefing by saying that innocent people like friends and family of Epstein or his business partners might get revealed by releasing the files. But listen here, if you were best friends with Jeffrey Epstein and knew nothing about what was going on, you're either downright crazy or probably just lying about being innocent.
The discharge petition could create new victims, okay? Because it requires the DOJ to release information even in cases where the DOJ or the FBI has already reviewed it and determined it is not credible, it is false information. Doing this and requiring this to come out could ruin the reputations of completely innocent people, such as those who have may just have known Epstein but knew nothing of his crimes or whose names he exploited. Think of this, innocent people whose names he exploited and used to try to get close to his intended victims.
But after all that posturing, Mike Johnson went back into Congress with his little group of followers, and then the vote to release the Epstein files was taken.
On this vote, the yeas are 427, the nays are 1. 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended, the bill is passed, and without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
After months of defending Donald Trump from the Epstein files, even up until this morning, Mike Johnson and his cronies completely caved. Only one person in the entire House of Representatives voted no on releasing the files. Even Mike Johnson is more scared of his vote than he is of Donald Trump. And if the vote in the House wasn't shocking enough, just hours later, the Senate voted to pass the bill without debate. Chuck Schumer proposed an immediate vote on the bill before it could even be sent to the Senate. In this kind of vote, an objection counts as a no vote, and not a single Republican objected to passing the bill.
And so, I ask unanimous consent that when the Senate receives H.R. 4405, the Epstein Files Transparency Act from the House, the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration, the bill be considered read 3 times and passed with no intervening action or debate, and the motion to reconsider be considered made and laid upon the table.
Is there an objection? Without objection, so ordered.
The Senate has now passed the Epstein bill as soon as it comes over from the House. I yield the floor.
Both the House and Senate passed a bill that Donald Trump said would never see the light of day, and they almost did it unanimously with only one person out of 535 people voting to defend the president. Now, it isn't clear how many Republicans were just trying to not be that guy who voted for the Epstein files, but either way, Donald Trump was just completely abandoned by his own party in a breakup they might not be able to recover from. Now, at the time of making this video, Donald Trump has not yet responded to this bill, but honestly, it doesn't even matter anymore. Both halves of Congress voted for the bill in a veto-proof majority. So even if Trump vetoes the bill, Congress still has the numbers to block his veto, not to mention how bad it would look for Trump to veto his own party's vote. But that now has everyone speculating about one person, Pam Bondi. Whether Trump vetoes the bill or not, it's going to pass, and Pam Bondi, as the head of the Department of Justice, will be asked to release the files. But the real question is, will she do it? As this vote approached, there was speculation from all sides that Pam Bondi might be Donald Trump's last hope in stopping the release of the Epstein files.
The president's been saying this is a hoax. He's been saying that for months. Well, he's just now decided to investigate a hoax, if it's a hoax. And I have another concern about these investigations that he's announced. If they have ongoing investigations in certain areas, those documents can't be released. So this might be a big smokescreen, these investigations, to open a bunch of them as a last-ditch effort to prevent the release of the Epstein files.
Donald, they're on to you. Massey there is saying, in effect, that Trump may have lost this battle, but he does have other ways to keep the files from being released.
According to Representative Thomas Massey, and also federal law, the Department of Justice can block an information request if they are using that information in an active investigation. And according to the New York Times, Pam Bondi is currently looking at starting up an investigation into the people named in the released Epstein emails. If she can launch an official investigation before Trump either signs the bill or gets his veto blocked, then Bondi could lock down the files for at least a few more months. But the problem is, while all this was blowing up this week, Pam Bondi seems to have completely disappeared off the face of the earth. We seriously haven't seen her since she was rushed to the Situation Room last week when Trump was freaking out about the Epstein vote.
Sources are telling CNN that top Trump administration officials held a meeting on this issue, not just at the White House, but in the Situation Room. Now, according to multiple sources, the meeting was said to have included the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Republican Congresswoman Lauren Boebert.
The last we saw of Pam Bondi, she was at the White House being told to find ways to stop the Epstein files at all costs. But no one in the Trump administration could have possibly predicted that the bill would have passed this quickly. And what's even worse is that no one guessed that almost every single Republican in Congress would turn on Donald Trump today, including Mike Johnson. So that just begs the question, as Congress passes an order forcing the DOJ to release the files, will Pam Bondi create a fake investigation in the next 24 hours to block the files, or will she obey an order from Congress to release them? Pam Bondi has to make a decision to either side with her president or with the rest of her party. The fate of Trump's administration, and maybe even his own freedom, could be on the line, and instead of stepping up to take a side, Pam Bondi is currently nowhere to be found. So go ahead and put your thoughts on what Bondi will decide to do down in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more.